Football tonight, Colts, Ravens, Bengals, Eagles, Raiders, Seahawks. Ross Tucker, Westwood One, CBS Sports, host of Ross Tucker Football Podcast. He'll be the analyst in the Eagles TV booth tonight when they host the Bengals. What do you look for in a preseason game?
Well, that is a terrific question, Dan, and it really varies from team to team. Specifically for the Eagles, the team I work for tonight, it's kind of rare, I feel like, for them to have this many available roles, available starting jobs for a defending Super Bowl champion that was as good as they were last year. The starting linebacker job next to Zach Bond is up for grabs. Starting cornerback across from Quinyon Mitchell, starting safety next to Reed Blankenship. And then they lost a bunch of D linemen to free agency or retirement. So the third and fourth edge rushers, who, as you know, play a lot, the fourth and fifth D tackles who play a lot. So that's 7 of the top, 14, 15 roles for the Eagles' number one ranked defense are legitimately, genuinely up for grabs starting tonight. And what's cool about it is Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach, says that the Bengals are going to play their starters, Joe Burrow and those guys, for a quarter. So it's fantastic work for the young Eagles defense and for those guys competing for those jobs to go against Burrow and the starters. And I guess Taylor said they're going to even play more week 2 of the preseason against Washington. So obviously the Bengals are trying to change things up after going 1-11 the first 2 games of the season under Zach Taylor.
Yeah, that's the amazing part of this is certain teams can use the first couple of weeks of the regular season as their preseason. Felt like Belichick and the Patriots did that. The Bengals cannot afford to get off to a slow start again. When you watch rookie quarterbacks, what should we be watching for?
I think as much as anything else, it's just, do they look like they belong? Do they look comfortable? You can tell when someone's racing, watch their feet, watch their eyes. If their head's all over the place and they've got happy feet in the pocket, that's not what you want to see. In general, I always say this about any quarterback, but especially young quarterbacks, the faster they're getting rid of the ball, right, from snap to throw, the better you should feel about them. Because that shows you that they've done the pre-snap work, they've done the preparation, they have a really good feel for where they want to go with the ball, and they get it out quickly. I will say, though, Dan, as a caveat, right, most of preseason, especially for young quarterbacks, very vanilla defenses. And then the coaching staffs are going to try to enable these young quarterbacks to get confidence and be able to throw the ball to their first read. It's just not like that in the regular season, right? The Eagles actually have a classic case. Tonight, Dorian Thompson-Robinson will play. He has been fantastic the last 2 years in the preseason for the Cleveland Browns. And then in the regular season, I got to look it up before the game tonight. I think he has 1 touchdown, 11 interceptions in his 4 regular season starts. So it's been very, very different. And that's actually a really important point as it relates to preseason football. Some teams just want to put certain players, Dan, in specific situations and see how they react. Some teams want to feature guys to see what they have left or maybe to try to trade them. Others, they want to try to go into the season with confidence. I mean, everybody, in the regular season, we know that everyone's game planning to the max to try to win that game that week. In the preseason, there's a lot of different goals that people are trying to achieve. And so you can't really look at the score or even the scheme, but I do think how individual players perform, especially if it's really good or really poorly, I do think that's something to make note of.
He's Ross Tucker. He's host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. He calls games for CBS and Westwood One. Smelling salts. The NFL says no more smelling salts. What was your experience with smelling salts?
Well, we didn't have that in college at Princeton. And the first time someone gave it to me in the NFL, nobody told me what it was. They just said, sniff it. And Dan, that was a bad experience. Okay. If you don't know what's coming and you just take it and you're like, oh, okay. and you sniff in like that. I mean, I cried. I mean, my nose was burning. I had a really bad first experience, which is probably why I was never a smelling salt guy. There's a lot of guys that after that, they do it, before every game or sometimes during game. I mean, you've been around me enough, Dan. Do I look like a guy that needs smelling salts? Do I do I seem like a guy that needs a little something extra to get going? The answer is no. And also, I think I was just too much of a wimp. I had such a bad first experience that when they would give it to me after that, I would do one of these, Dan, for people watching on Peacock or YouTube. I'd be like 5 inches from my nose, right? I was too afraid to get it like real close to my nose. By the way, supposedly they can still use smelling salts. The team's just not going to provide them anymore. So now the players have to bring your own smelling salts, BYOSS, to your NFL games.
If they're not good for you, then why is the NFL allowing you to bring your own?
That's a really good question. I think probably liability. I don't know. You're right. Like if you're the NFL, you're liable if you're the one supplying it, if you're the one handing them out. It's probably the same reason why they've cut back on a lot of the pain medicine. They've cut back on some of the injections and shots guys get. Now they still do it, but man, Dan, when I was playing, do you remember Vioxx, the anti-inflammatory Vioxx?
I loved Vioxx.
Yeah, and at some point they came out and said Vioxx is bad for you. That is information that would have been very valuable to me in like 2000, okay? To come out in 2008 after I've been taking it for 8 years, like what how does that help me? And then also with the Toradol, right? Stuff like that, they're a little bit more, I mean, back when I played, there'd be a line of 12 guys to get the Toradol shot, right? Just over and over and over and over again. Supposedly they've reeled back some of that stuff and probably for good reason.
What's Toradol do?
Toradol is by far the best full body anti-inflammatory you can ever take. My rookie year, I saw guys getting shots in their butt, right? And I didn't play as a rookie, so I didn't really even know what they were doing. I thought it was like cortisone, and then someone said, no, it's Toradol. Dan, let me just tell you, okay? Year 2, we fly to Osaka, Japan to play the Niners in the preseason. I'm starting for Washington in the preseason game. After the flight, first practice, I hurt my neck. I sprained my neck. I can't leave the hotel room. I'm miserable. Before the game, I go up to the Redskins team doctor and say, hey, I need one of those shots in my butt. And they said, it's a preseason game. We didn't even bring one. I said, it's not a preseason. I'm trying to win a starting job. This is like the most important game of my life. So the Redskins team doctor goes over to the Niners, gets a Toradol shot from them, puts it in my butt. Dan, I played unbelievable. I played unbelievable. That's like the best I ever played. So I will say this though, the tough thing about that in life, right? As a football player, there's always something bothering you. So after that game, anytime I was starting, I pretty much got a Toradol shot because if you ask an NFL player before a game, would you rather be a little bit taller or faster or stronger or whatever? They would tell you, I just want to feel as healthy as possible. Just, I don't want my back to feel like that or my knee or my left shoulder. Like, I just want to feel. So once I had that experience, my first preseason game, my second year, anytime I was starting after that in a regular season game, I had something bothering me. I was taking a Toradol shot because I was trying to maximize my performance on the field.
What's your view of training camp fights? Like, what's it mean to you when you see a team that's fighting, actual, fisticuffs?
Yeah, so if you got any of my former teammates on here and asked them about me, I would think from 2001 to 2008, I'd be surprised if I didn't lead the NFL in training camp fights. I really would. And in fairness, in my mind, I was never starting a fight. I was always finishing a play. Now, the other guys didn't feel that way. and they didn't like me and they thought I was annoying, but I have plenty of friends from high school and college. What do I care about these guys, right? Like I'm trying to get a job, right? So I would finish the plays and they would not be happy, whether I'm pancaking them or hitting them late or whatever. So then they would always throw the first swing and then I would swing back. And I don't know, it's one of those things where the coaches act like they don't like it, but they do. 2004, okay, training camp. Remember Oliver Gibson, who I think recently passed, a D tackle? We're in Buffalo, and he was just annoying the crap out of me. And he kept grabbing me. I couldn't get up to the linebacker. He kept grabbing my jersey. So finally, after a play, I was done with it. And that one I actually started. I'll raise my hand for that one. And I just started wailing on him. And he's punched me back, and they break it up. And I'm walking back to the huddle. And I thought, no, you know what? I hate that guy. I'm sick of it. Dan, I ran back and smoked him. I ran back and smoked him. And Mike Mularkey was our head coach. He kicked me out of practice, okay? This is like halfway through practice. He kicked me out for that move, okay? And he told the team that is not what they want. That's not what they're going for. Two things happened after practice. First of all, some of the best veterans we had said, Tuck, you want to start a fight tomorrow so we can both get out of practice? They're like, hey, if you can get out of practice by getting a fight, well, let's start it early. And Mularkey came up to me and Mularkey said, I'll never forget, Dan. He said, hey, Ross, I just want to let you know. I said, yeah. I said, I'm sorry. I lost my head. I hate that guy. He's like, I know. He said, I told the team that that's not what we're looking for. He said, I just want you to know the way you play is exactly what we're looking for. So they say one thing publicly, Dan, but then privately, they feel differently.
Good to talk to you. Have fun tonight. And you know what? Before you go, you tend to tell this story, I think, every year, maybe every other year, of when you get cut, that here you are, a high school hero, you play at Princeton, you're in the NFL, and that feeling when you get cut, when you go back to your hometown.
You know what's so funny? You just saying that, I'm not exaggerating. My eyes filled up a little bit because it takes me right back to that. It's, picture for 15 years of your life, 10 to 12 years of your life, you go back and everybody kind of knows who you are. And everybody's like, hey, Ross, the football player, Ross, how's it going? I saw you again for the Cowboys. I saw you. Ross, what's up, man? How's Princeton going? And then imagine all of a sudden you go back and it was on the cover of the Reading Eagle newspaper, okay, in Berks County, Pennsylvania, an hour west of Philly. It was on the front cover, Ross Tucker released by whoever. There was a bunch of them, right? So now you go back and they don't know how to react, Dan. They don't know what to say to you. Some people just kind of put their head down. Some people are like, hey man, I saw the news. It's a really, really awkward situation, super uncomfortable. You feel like you're letting those people down. They don't know how to treat you because they've always treated you like you're a hero, but now you're the zero. It's not easy. I mean, it takes some significant mental toughness, that's for sure.
Do you still have the newspapers that talked about you when you got cut by teams and you came back home?
I have all the positive newspaper clippings. I have no idea where the negative newspaper clippings are. I think I threw I have scrapbooks, which are awesome. My mom did them when I was in high school and college, and then I think even in the NFL, maybe the first couple years. And I love having those to flip through or show my daughters or whatever, but didn't put the negative stuff in there just because brings back bad memories. There's, in life, right? We can all choose to have gratitude for the things that we have and the positive things that have happened, or we can choose to, like I could say, I wish I was doing this game as a broadcaster, or I wish I'd played this long in the NFL. How does that help you at all, right? Instead, I'm just thrilled I'm doing this game tonight, thrilled I'm doing games for CBS. If you have gratitude for the things you have and are thankful for the things you have, man, you'll be so much happier than if you're always worried about what could have been or thinking about what could have been or the negative or the bad things that happened. I choose to look back on my NFL career and just think about the positives in 7 years and not all the injuries or the 40 times I got cut or whatever. Tried to block, I mean, it's still there, but I try to block that out as much as I can.
Thanks for sharing. Good to talk to you. Thank you, Ross.
Always. Great talking, Dan.
Ross Tucker, the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, CBS Sports in Westwood One, covering college football and the NFL. We'll take a break. Your phone calls coming up. We'll also play Who's More Hall of Famey. We'll give you two candidates. Which one is more Hall of Famey after this?